The very first thing Episode 2, Shadow Rising, reminds us of is that it is not Robert Jordan's version of the Wheel of Time. No, this is Grimdark Lite, CW style, done with a whole hell of a lot of money. We're going into spoilers. If you don't want to have Episode 2 ruined by my observations, go away. I will give the show this. When there's no dialogue and it's just these characters riding through these beautiful surroundings, especially in the mountains and in the forests, it looks great. The problem is when they start talking and their story. Abdul Salis, a big shot, a sadistic questionnaire. He likes to eat baby birds whole. Burning an ace a day, a yellow after chopping her hands off. He loves his barbecues, especially with the ace a day. Gee, I wonder if we're not supposed to like him. I thought Brandon Sanderson said he hoped this show wouldn't go grimdark. Rafe, you savage. We then jump into a fleeing scene, fleeing from the Trollocs. Beautiful scenery from Eastern Europe. However, I am struck by the fact that this sure does look a lot like some of the scenes from The Lord of the Rings. Now, I will give them this. The scene at the ferry was pretty good, conveying the army of Trollocs chasing them down. However, it felt like we were missing something, didn't it? Now you'd be forgiven if you were thinking I was talking about Thom, the Glee man, who should have been there. No, not him. Where is the drag car? I guess if you'd had that, they wouldn't be able to go into those wide open abandoned buildings that made it so easy to shoot the later scenes. For those of you unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, it's a winged creature overhead which is chasing the gang from Emmons Field for quite a bit, and why they need to hide in a log to not be seen. With all the money Amazon spent on this, you couldn't throw a few bucks at CGI for that. It was kind of important. And again, I want to say this. Daniel Henney makes a great Lan. He really does. Out of everyone there. And in all fairness, Rosamund Pike would be a great Moiraine if she actually was the character in the books that I know and love. Do we all got that? This is not the Wheel of Time that we all know and love. This is the story after the story we all know and love. Once they've stopped fleeing for a while and are sitting around a campsite, we get some bizarre dialogue from Rand with Egwene and Matt talking about canon-breaking changes regarding the Great Dragon. But hey, as Moiraine tells us, forget everything you think about the dragon. I guess that's the only way you can watch this show and take it seriously. Of course, we get pointless CW relationship problems between Rand and Egwene after Moiraine starts to teach Egwene how to channel. Why? I honestly don't know. And another thing, once Egwene goes to hang out with Perrin, they have the world's largest bonfire so that any Trolloc that's downwind of him will know to go to that site. And this is why the omission of the Dragar, that flying creature pursuing them, was important. Again, in the books, they slept in a hollowed out log and only had a fire right before leaving that was only big enough in that log to make warm water for tea. Instead, I'm waiting for Perrin to whip out marshmallows and continue his fake backstory of having a wife and killing her. And boy, all those howling wolves, that's subtle, isn't it? It's interesting, though, because they shut up exactly when the dialogue needs them to. I personally would have preferred if the wolves kept howling. Okay, legit question. Why the hell was Rand choking on a bat? And Egwene, of course, turns on the rest of the young adults from Emmons Field and talks about how selfish Rand is because, well, he's a man and Men are either stupid or evil. Duh. Speaking of canon-breaking changes, just like that, we meet the White Cloaks. Their costumes look like they're hanging out at a bathhouse in the south of France. No, gone is the starburst with the shepherd's hook. What we're looking at is a bunch of people hanging out, being free and easy in the woods in their white bathrobes. Wait. Why are the White Cloaks telling someone to go to the Aes Sedai to get healed? Just what? Wait, what? Rafe Judkins is going to do that. We're just going to go along with this, even if it is not the actual Wheel of Time book series. It's the next time these characters are woven into the pattern. We're just going to go along with this, that the White Cloaks are like, hey, we're not going to take care of you. Don't go bother finding some type of a healer. You go ahead and you go to our bitter mortal enemies. This is stupid. Wow, we get a very long exposition from Moiraine horseback where we have everything dumped all at once. It is overwhelming. It is so much information. And oh yay, non-canon CW young adult relationship problem thing happening in the woods. I can never hate you. Wow. Moving. Gripping. I can so totally see why you discarded Robert Jordan's original work, Rafe Judkins. You're so much better at it. And the wolves. What the hell are the wolves doing around Perrin right now? This is awful freaking early. But it's like, wait, what? What are we doing here? The wolf licks Perrin's leg of the wound. The wolf, he just stands there after licking the blood off of Perrin and like, you're pretty good, dude. Why? All right, I got to keep reminding myself this is not Robert Jordan's story. This is Rafe Judkins' story. And once again, we get another nighttime scene where they're camping out in ruins with the world's largest bonfire. And surprise, surprise, they're actually found by the Trollocs. However, the emotional impact it had on me as a viewer was absolutely nothing. I mean, for real, Trollocs, eat these people. I don't know who the hell they are. I gotta say, I liked the visuals of the fallen city, at least the wall exterior. I think that was a powerful way to represent what waited inside. Now, the problems began once we got inside, and the big payoff we as book readers were hoping for never appeared. The ruins of Shadir Logoth, underwhelming. Now, why do I say that? The scene where Perrin and Mat, when they're in the cursed city, sitting inside, and Matrim tells Perrin about this knife that his dead wife made for him, it's very difficult to take any of this seriously. I'm reminded of Brandon Sanderson, again, the author of the Wheel of Time's books, own comment that this story can't reasonably respect the death of Perrin's wife, which again, never actually happened in the books. But the way that episode 2 shows, or just seems to gloss over it or roll right over it, with Matrim making a joke that makes Perrin smile while he has the world's worst makeup tear in his eye, is painful to watch. Here is the main reason I have a problem with how they wasted the entire experience of Shadir Logoth, which is supposed to be the most evil city imaginable. This was such a missed opportunity. That scene in the books where Rand and Matrim accidentally wander into a magnificent treasure room. Does anyone remember that? Why, in my mind, the book scene and how that dagger is found, the context of being surrounded by unimaginable wealth and being able to resist it, that was powerful. In this, Matt's walking around, finds some box in a pile of garbage, and that's it? That's what we get? To me, the reasons why they changed that whole experience was because Rafe Judkins wrote Matrim as a degenerate gambler who would have stolen everything, which again was not who Matrim was. And again, I think this is a consequence of what Rafe Judkins did by writing himself into the corners he did, choosing to characterize and then age up these characters. There's nowhere to go with Matt since he's a degenerate, and if he's gonna sleep with some chick and then steal her stuff and pawn it, you can bet when he walks into a treasure room, that dude is gonna be stuffing his pockets so much his pants are gonna fall down. So instead, Matrim goes dumpster diving and finds a cursed dagger. There's nothing powerful in the scene that we are portrayed with the dagger being taken by Matt. Nothing. Have you noticed some of the deliberate omissions? Much in the way Thom is not part of this episode and isn't building a relationship with the young characters who have left Emmons Field for the first time. Nor is Lan teaching Rand how to use that heron-marked blade. Interesting choices until you understand they do not want to positively portray any male role models for anyone. That is not an accident. All right, I'm just going to skip over some stuff. Let's go straight to the ending. So much for Nineveh's falling in love with Lan. Yeah, for those people who haven't read the books, you heard me right. It was a beautiful scene in the book. One can only begin to guess at why that was omitted. Whatever. I have to keep telling myself this isn't actually the Wheel of Time, and it makes it really hard to review this when everything is just so wrong from a book perspective. It's just that a lot of us were really excited about this show. A lot of us were totally stoked. Come on. The Eye of the World, every chapter you can condense into a mini screenplay quite easily. It's all laid out for you. What we've gotten, I just don't know what the motivation was to go Grimdark meets CW. Standing on its own merit, separating it from the Wheel of Time book series is very difficult. But the place that I still am is that for all of the money that Amazon spent on this show, it is just not very fun or engaging to watch. I've seen shows on Sci-Fi that probably cost 1/10 of this and had more of a soul. If you're not terrified of what Amazon is going to do with their version of Lord of the Rings in the Second Age, to quote Master Yoda, you will be. As ever, this is Salty Texas Sea. I am Corey DB, and I want to thank all of my new subscribers. Please go try and find other small content creators like myself, the ones that YouTube doesn't push. There's a lot of great people creating a lot of great content out there. You have an awesome rest of your weekend.